Hey yo, and welcome to the dojo. My name is Code, and today we're going to be taking a look at my pre-release deck from Temporal Forces. That's right, a couple days ago I competed in a Temporal Forces pre-release event, and I must say, it did go quite fantastically. We got some great pulls, which if you stick around till the end, I'll show you a couple bangers. We did pull an Spec that made it into our pre-release deck. I'll talk about how that impacted the game, and I believe I did also get the best pre-release promo, at least if you wanted a winning deck. So let's dive in and take a look at what I built. So in case you're unfamiliar, a pre-release format is a little bit different than standard format. You only make a 40 card deck, you play 4 prize cards, and you can put as many as you want of an individual card into your deck. So you could have 5 ofs and even more if you wanted, which I do in this deck. So let's start taking a look at the deck, one piece at a time. And it all starts with the homie, the promo, the Miraidon Future Pokemon. And you can see we have the beautiful Temporal Forces stamp in the corner. Miraidon, the art is looking super cool, especially when you compare it to the normal one. So Miraidon was my archetype, which is basically an accelerated energy archetype. Miraidon is your ideal starter when you're playing this deck. We also have some other Pokemon that can accelerate energy, which we'll get into in just a moment. But Miraidon, with that peak acceleration, allows you to do not only 40 damage for colorless, but search your deck for 2 basic energy and attach it to your future Pokemon any way you like, then shuffle your deck. So with this deck, you pretty much always wanted to be going second, so you could get that turn 1 attack off and accelerate energy, and then you were pretty much just set up for the rest of the game. Pretty crazy. So let's take a look at what I got. So obviously we had the pre-release promo, and we had 1, 2, 3 of those. I think I pulled 1 of those. I think the pre-release kit only came with 3, if I recall. And then we had our mainstay attacker of the deck, the Iron Thorns. This dude just rocked my opponents. He was my main attacker throughout my matches. Of course, I don't think I declared the Megaton Lariat at all for 140. But we were definitely Destructo pressing our foes for 70 times. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, and this attack does 70 damage for each future card you have there, which is just bananas. Basically, as you'll see, I was able to pull a decent number of future cards in my bonus packs, so we had quite a good chance of hitting future cards off this. And I think there were a few times when I only ripped 1. I never missed. Sometimes I hit up to 3 futures, and if you're doing 140 or even up to 210, on a single attack for 2 energies in pre-release format is pretty bonkers. I definitely pulled some extra of this guy. I don't remember how many I had in the deck, but I believe I have 5 in my deck. I don't remember how many came in my kit though. We have another future Pokemon, our Iron Hands. I believe I did bench Iron Hands once, but we never did attack with him. He's a little interesting as he does have a chance to paralyze your opponent on a coin flip. And then he has the Super Alloy Hands, which doesn't really come up in pre-release, so he was mostly there to be another future Pokemon to rip with my Iron Thorns. Iron Valiant, a Pokemon I didn't use in too many of the matches, but I did attack with it I think once, and when we did, we used the Majestic Sword. This was a hard to pull off attack in this deck because I only ended up running 2 Psychic, but that was enough. And next we get to our next acceleration. This little guy has a great stage 1. I played 3 of the basics, and we get to the other energy acceleration in this deck, which is really why I thought this pre-release deck was broken compared to others, because not only did you have that Miraidon to start accelerating to your future Pokemon, you had this dude who could just accelerate to any Pokemon, Metal Energy. And our attack on our Iron Thorns were electric colorless, so it was great for attaching there. And there's at least one other attacker in this deck that it was good for powering up. I believe the pre-release deck came with 4-2-2 line, but I actually only played a 3-2 line. I decided not to play any of the Metagross in the deck, who does do a ridiculous 200 damage, which isn't too hard to power up as long as you're playing enough metal in your deck, especially with the Metang's ability. But I decided early on that I was going to stick basically with the future Pokemon as my main attackers in this deck. But of course, yeah, the Metal Maker, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, can attach any metal you find there. But the great thing about this too is if you don't find cards there, you just shuffle those cards and put them at the bottom of your deck. So you're creating an energyless bottom of your deck and higher potential to hit future energies on the top of your deck. So as long as you don't shuffle your deck, you're going to pretty consistently be accelerating energies, assuming you're playing enough and have enough left in your deck. So pretty crazy. Next up, I did pull this Mawile, and the Mawile was interesting to me. It was a good target for my Metagross to Metal Maker 2. It had the interesting attack that was the Invite and Strike. Switch a poke from your opponent's bench to the active and do 30 damage to that Pokemon. I think I did declare that attack once, but I mainly had this in here for another decent hitter for 100 damage for 3 energy, which again, not hard to get with the Metal Makers. I could attack. And that's all the Pokemon I played. Now we start to get into the exciting stuff. Because yes, I did pull an Ace Spec, and it did make it into the deck. I would say it's probably the best Ace Spec to get as well for the pre-release format, and that of course is the Hero's Cape. And at the end, we'll take this out of the sleeve so you can get a closer look at this, but adding 100 HP in the pre-release, bonkers. But let's take a look at what other trainers and item cards I played. I played a Youngster. Any draw support you get is pretty good in this format. I did play a Jacques to go find my Metangs. I was lucky enough to get one of these Future Booster Energy Capsules in my pre-release deck, as well as I did happen to pull one. Again, I didn't necessarily even need the effects of this card. It was just a good card to burn for my Iron Thorns. I put in 2 Morty's Conviction. I figured people in pre-release are just gonna fill up their bench if they can. I believe I drew this from packs, but a Buddy Buddy Poffin is pretty good. Even though I couldn't really grab any of my future Pokemon with it, it was a good way to establish the board to try to get those Metangs established as soon as possible. Cypher X code breaking was pretty good. I was able to get a key knockout in one game because I was able to stack my deck with a couple future Pokemon to guarantee my next big hit. So that worked out pretty cool. Of course, we have the Techno Radar to search out our Pokemon. Now we just get into the energies. I believe the deck did come with 1 Luminous Energy, which is just a Rainbow Energy. And then we played 6 Metal. We played 4 Electric Energy. And like I think I mentioned earlier, we played 2 Basic Psychic. And that was the deck. It worked really well for me. I ended up going undefeated in the little tournament we had. Of course, it was just for fun. And I ended up getting some great pulls. I loved that we got the Hero's Cape. In fact, let's take that out of the sleeve and take a look at it compared to like another card so you can really take in what an Ace Spec looks like. Let's just compare it to a basic Pokemon. So we have our Iron Treads here, no foil or anything on it. And then we have this Hero Cape, which has this really cool diamond pattern on it. Although it looks like it, if you feel the card, it's slightly different. It's not like textured, but it's not smooth either. I don't know how to explain it. There's not like ribs like some of the like SARs and stuff have on them. There's some like embossedness in the top area of the card, but they look sick. Look at that. And how jarring is it just to see this like bright pink purplish card in your deck? You really know when you hit your Ace Specs. But of course, once the event was over, we got some bonus packs, which is always fun. And I did get a couple of hits out of those. And I will just show you the 2 big hits that I got from there. The first one I actually did pull in my starter kit, which was the Gouging Fire, which is the Entei that's an ancient Pokemon. He does 60 damage for 2 or for 260. This Pokemon can't use this attack until it leaves the active spot, which is a super interesting wording, but 260 is a okay number to hit, but not super meaningful at the same time. You would really like to see 280, but that would be crazy for a basic Pokemon. So Gouging Fire, I don't think I'll be putting into any decks, but the next card we could probably fit into a couple decks. If not in its own, we could definitely put it in Lost Box decks, and of course, that Pokemon is... we got the Gold Raging Bolt EX. Looking magnificent with that extra long neck. What a weird looking dude. I don't even know how to describe this. I don't know how Raikou turned into this back in the day. And this picture at least just looks like he's got this like crazy looking purple mustache almost. I don't know. Silly card. But that was the deck I built. It ran magnificently for me. I couldn't be happier. I think I got really lucky with getting the Miraidon deck. Like I said, having the Miraidon and the Metang were just crazy energy acceleration. I had a lot of fun playing it. It's definitely my favorite type of Pokemon event to play and compete in. And that's all I have for today, but very soon we should be getting a booster box of Temporal Forces before Street Date, thanks to League, and I'm excited to be opening it for you on this channel. So stay tuned. If you like this video, like and subscribe and do the YouTube algorithm things, and until next time, peace.